Arise and build. Lessons from Nehemiah. In studying Nehemiah, we see that at least 10 principles were implemented in rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, which had been destroyed during the captivity. We can apply these same 10 principles today to building up the church of God, seeing it grow. Principle number 1, we should care. Nehemiah wept for 3 days when he found out how bad things were in Jerusalem. He was cupbearer to the king in Persia. You see, he cared deeply. We too should care deeply about the state of affairs in the kingdom and in our local church. We should be concerned not just about how things are going now, but about the future of the church. This is the foundation. Number 2, we must pray. The first thing Nehemiah did when he found out was to pray for 3 days for Jerusalem. Then when he went to the king, and the king offered to help, before Nehemiah even responded to the king, in that very conversation, he offered a short prayer in his mind. Nehemiah was a man of prayer. And we too must pray. Growth in the kingdom is only possible with God's help, so we must be a prayerful people. Number 3, we must plan. The first thing that Nehemiah did when he arrived in Jerusalem was he formulated a plan of action. He went and inspected the walls and decided what to do. We too must have a plan if this church is going to grow. If we aim for nothing, then we'll hit it every time. So we must have a goal and a plan for growth and for evangelism. However, having a plan is not enough. We must then work the plan. Number 4, we must ignore the critics. The Jews faced criticism for trying to rebuild. They faced criticism from their enemies, and they faced criticism from within Judah. Yet they didn't let that stop them. In building up this church, we may face criticism from without and from within, but we must ignore the critics and keep right on working. Number 5, we need every member. Nehemiah got every family involved in the work, and that's why they rebuilt the walls in 52 days. If we're going to grow, we need every member to get involved. And each individual member has a specific needed function, so we don't need to leave anybody out. Number 6, we need to work when others won't. The nobles of one of the families rebuilding the wall, the Tekoites, did not support the work. Yet even without their nobles, the Tekoites finished their portion on the wall and then got busy on another portion. Do not be discouraged by the ones who do not work in the church. Just work anyway. Number 7, don't go looking for a fight. Under the threat of attack, the Jews continued to work with defenses ready. Some of them even worked one hand with a weapon and one hand working on the wall. And so we too need to keep working. While we must be prepared to defend the truth, we shouldn't go looking for a fight. Our goal is to build up the church. We may have to stop and battle error, but we must not give up building. We can do both. Number 8, growth takes hard work. The builders worked hard. They worked from dawn until the stars appeared. And if we're going to grow as a congregation, it's going to be hard work. It is not going to be easy. We must have a mind to work like Nehemiah and the Jews had. Number 9, we must solve internal problems. Nehemiah corrected the problem of usury among the Jews. This was an internal problem. This conflict was halting the progress on the walls. If internal problems arise within this church, we must address those problems head on. This is the only way that the church can continue to grow. Number 10, and finally, keep your focus. Nehemiah was too busy building to stop and meet with his enemies who were actually plotting to destroy him. Our goal is to build up the church. We must not get distracted with trivial matters, and we must not get distracted with the deceptions of the devil. Only by maintaining focused intensity will we finish the work of building up this church. And so these are the 10 principles that Nehemiah implemented in rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. If we implement these as well, then we will truly arise and build.